Marianne here, and welcome to the posture workout. This month we have a total body energizing routine. Throughout this entire routine, I want you to prioritize form, not time. As you get better at these exercises, build up to doing the full time sets and reps. Here we have air bench. We're holding this today for 2 minutes. The purpose of air bench is to strengthen the quads. Those are the muscles along the front sides of your legs, and to remove rotation and to stabilize the pelvis. This exercise is also going to help to reconnect or reestablish the connection between the shoulders and the hips. So your body positioning is really important here. So as I showed you in my setup, which you'll want to do the same thing, position your feet so that they are hip width distance apart. So you should actually measure a fist and a half width between your ankle joints when you start off in this exercise. Point your feet straight ahead. So that means that when you look down, go ahead and look at your feet. They should look slightly pigeon-toed. If your feet look slightly turned out or normal, that means they are probably turned out. So it's really important that you turn your toes inward, make sure your feet are pointed straight ahead. And here from the side view, I'm showing you that your hip joint should be just above your knee, and your ankle joint should be either directly below your knee or slightly in front of your knee, but not behind your knee. Once you get into position, press your weight through your ankle joints, press your hips and your low back flat against your wall, relax your stomach, and breathe. Try to relax your upper body. It's okay to slouch your upper body just a little bit because your priority here is to get your low back flat against the wall. Now, traction is really important, so make sure that you wear either a pair of tennis shoes or do this on a non-slip surface to make sure that you don't slip. Now we're going to start static extension. Place your knees and your lower legs on a block or a piece of furniture like an ottoman or a couch, and walk your hands forward so that your hip joint comes to about 4 to 6 inches in front of your knee. And position your body so that your shoulder joint is directly above your wrist. Now drop your shoulder blades together, let your stomach relax, and let your hips tilt forward so that you have an arch through your low back. We have a 2-minute hold here. This exercise promotes extension through the pelvis and spine. So when we sit, our pelvis and spine is in flexion. So this helps to undo being in the seated position. This exercise also resets the shoulders. So it's really important that you let your shoulder blades collapse together in the back. Keep your elbow joint straight. Spread your fingers wide and flatten your fingers to the floor. We're building strength in the upper body and in the hips. Now make sure that your shoulder joints don't come past your hips. If this happens, pull back so that your shoulders stack directly over your wrist and your hips are 4 to 6 inches in front of your knee. You're doing a good job here. You have a little ways to go. Hang in there. Now, if this is too demanding, start with your legs directly on the floor and then work up to doing this with your legs on a block or a piece of furniture like I'm showing you here. Breathe. Hold the position. With every exhale, allow your shoulder blades to sink together in the back. Let the stomach relax. Knee joints should be hip width distance apart. And done. Good job. Now for upper spinal floor twist. You're going to lay on your side with your ankle joints, knee joints, hip joints, all at 90 degrees. Go ahead and flex your feet. Place your bottom hand on your top knee and rotate that top arm to open up towards the floor, and turn your head towards the left. If you're on your If you're laying on your right side the same way I am here, you'll turn your head towards the left and you'll do the opposite when you go to the other side. Breathe into your lower back, and we're holding this today for 2 minutes. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind. It's really important with upper spinal floor twist that your pelvis stays stacked. That's why you want to put your bottom hand on your top knee to keep your knees together. This will stabilize your hips. Upper spinal floor twist takes your mid to upper back through rotation with your hips stabilizing at the same time. This exercise feels great. You're going to feel a nice stretch through the side of your body, your shoulder, the front side of your shoulder. You should be breathing down into your belly and your low back. And gradually, naturally with time, you don't have to force it, your shoulder is going to come down closer to the floor if it's not there already. So you don't have to try to push your shoulder down. Just simply breathing with your body weight, with gravity, and with time, your shoulder will settle towards the floor. Make sure that you keep your feet flexed. That's going to help to keep your hips and your legs active so that your lower body can help to stabilize throughout this exercise. You're almost done here, a few more seconds. And done. Bring that top arm all the way back to meet your bottom arm, just like you're closing up a book. And then switch to the other side. And remember your same startup position here with your ankle joints, knee joints, and hip joints all at 90 degrees. Take the bottom hand to hold the top knee in place. Then open up the top arm towards the floor behind you. Turn your head in the direction of the top arm. So in this case, I'm turning my head towards the right. And breathe into your low back. So the position of your head and neck is very important here. Your head should be right in line with the rest of your spine. So you may have noticed here at the very beginning, I shifted my head a little bit towards the right. You should do the same thing. And then also you should be turning your head towards the right. So we're opening up through the neck and the upper back. Keep the top arm right in line with the shoulder. With the palm up, your fingers should be spread wide with your elbow joints straight. Deep inhales, deep exhales, emphasizing the exhale, allowing that top shoulder to settle towards the floor. Do a quick check here of your feet. Make sure that your feet are flexed. And your feet, lower legs, and knees should all be symmetrical. So if I were to look down on you from the top, your whole bottom foot, bottom leg should just disappear entirely, right underneath that top foot and leg. Good job with the breathing. Down into your belly, down into your lower back. Keep your fingers spread wide. Notice that top shoulder coming down closer to the floor. You're almost done here. You have just a few more seconds. Now let's close it up like we're closing up a book. And let's get into our next exercise here, prone ankle squeezes, laying on your belly with a block or a couch pillow between your feet. You're going to curl your feet in towards your hips until your ankle joints are directly above your knees. Flex your feet back and press and release against the block. We have 3 sets of 20. So the primary purpose of prone ankle squeezes is to activate and strengthen the glutes and the muscles of the hip. So it's really important that you have your object, your block, or your couch pillow in contact with the entire inner edges of your feet. So as you press and release against your object, you should be pressing with the heel and the balls of the feet, evenly through the inner edges of your feet, just like I'm showing you here. Take a full second to press in, hold it for a second, and a full second to release. You should be feeling this in the glutes and the hips. Now your goal is to feel this evenly in the glutes towards the end of your sets and reps. You should feel the same on both sides. Now as for your upper body, try to let your chest settle down into the floor, relax through your upper back, and try to let your armpits settle down towards the floor. This exercise releases muscle tightness and tension in the upper body if done correctly. So take your time and breathe. It might be worthwhile to have someone snap a picture of you from the side view while you do this. It's really important that you have your ankle joint directly above your knee joint with your feet flexed. Take your time. Press and release. Almost done here, just a few more reps. And done. Now for cats and dogs. We're going to reset by reestablishing the rhythm between the upper and the lower body, the pelvis and the spine. So cats and dogs teaches the body to work together as a unit. So we have two positions here. Cat, when the back is arched up towards the ceiling. Dog, as the back arches down towards the floor. With cat, push the back up high, let the shoulder blades come apart and breathe out. With dog, let the back sink down towards the floor, let the shoulder blades come together and look up. You should be breathing with each movement here. It doesn't matter which way you breathe, just make sure to take one full breath per movement. And finally, we're going to finish off here with standing windmill. It's really important that you position your feet hip width distance apart with your ankle joints all the way up against the wall with your feet straight for position number 1. So you're going to complete 5 reps here in this first position where left to right counts as 1. So your head should be back against the wall, your fingers are spread wide, shoulder blades are pinched together, and I want you to touch all 10 fingers to the wall. The pinkies, the thumbs, and everything in between. Nice work. We're going to come into our second position here. Feet are about 1.5 feet distance apart, and make sure that your feet stayed straight. So look down, check the feet. Turn your heels out a little bit if you need to. Inhale when you go one way. Exhale when you go the other way. And keep your stomach relaxed. Keep your hips still. This exercise stabilizes the hips if done correctly. Now let's come into our widest position here, about 2.5 feet apart. Bring the shoulders, the head, the hands all back to touch the wall. And move left to right 5 times. So this exercise is not about going as far to the side as you can. I know it's tempting to want to get that big stretch in the side of the body, but your form is more important than how far you go. Keep your head back, keep your fingers back against the wall, and keep your hips still. So finally, 4th position with the feet back directly underneath the hips. And this is actually the most challenging position to keep the hips still. Imagine you have Velcro on the backs of your butt cheeks, keeping your hips steady against the wall as you move side to side. Be sure to breathe and really take your time with this one. Nice work. You are done, and now I'm going to go over some things to remember. For static extension, I'm going to show you 4 mistakes to avoid. The first mistake, don't let the shoulders come past the wrists. Second mistake, Don't let the hips drop too low. The third mistake, don't keep your back in flexion. So we do actually want the pelvis to tilt forward and the low back to sink down into extension. So here's what that looks like here. The correct form with the shoulder joint directly on top of the wrist, hip 6 inches in front of the knee with an arch in the low back. And finally, don't let the elbows bend. So everything looks good here except the elbows. Make sure you keep those straight. Upper spinal floor twist, don't let your palm face down towards the floor. If that's happening, lift your arm up and back to face your palm up towards the ceiling. And don't let your knees come apart. This is what that would look like here. Big mistake. To avoid that, hold your top knee to keep the knees together. For prone ankle squeezes, you should feel this exercise in the glutes. If you don't, move your knees apart and then continue to press and release, and that will help you to feel it in the correct place, in the glutes and the butt muscles. Now don't do this with your toes pointed. The tops of your feet should be parallel to the ceiling. And another big mistake, remember to keep your object in contact with the entire inner edges of your feet. So here the block is only in contact with the balls of my feet. So in this case, you won't get the full muscle activation in your hips. So it's really important that you keep your object in contact with the entire inner edges of your feet. For standing windmill, don't let your hips move. So pretend that you have Velcro on your butt cheeks. The correct way is with your hips still. Don't move your arms more than your body. Pinch your shoulder blades together and keep your arms at 90 degrees in relationship to your torso. Congratulations on completing your posture workout. Make this a daily habit by completing your posture workout first thing in the morning. If you have questions or comments, post them to the Facebook community, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye!